Topic number 3 is how do you rate a game? We've got a lot of sites out there that do it different ways, and we have other sites that collate all the different results and attempt to give you a overall industry idea of how good a game actually is. What do you think the best way to rate a game is? Stars out of 100, out of 5?
I think the written review will always be the best, but no one's going to want to read the whole thing, which is how the number scored or star or whatever it came to be. Because people will just want to see, how good is this relative? 8.7, okay, I'm going to go buy it. They're not going to go into the pros and cons of the games that the reviewers actually list, because it might get that score, but the game might have a bad point that's really bad for the person buying it, and they'll just go return it the next day without having, they wasted money on it.
Right, so if a game's really good, the number of stars may not take into account the one fatal flaw that causes you to really hate it
Exactly.
or to be unplayable. What do you think the best way to rate a game
That's
is?
the problem to me, because people will go to, say, a big name site, IGN, GameSpot, whatever, and they'll say, okay, they gave this game a 9.0, I'm going to go buy it. But then they play the game and like, whoa, this is crap, I hate it. And then they'll say, oh, well, it's GameSpot's fault or it's IGN's fault. You should have read the review, because the written thing is there for you to look at the score afterwards. Read the review. Gamers are lazy.
I don't even think that's the real problem. The real problem with number scores and like a star rating is that it's putting games on the same level as other games when they're completely different beasts.
Yeah.
Halo 3, we'll say that guy 5 stars. So did, we'll say, Street Fighter 4. But they're completely different genres of games. It's not saying that they're the same, you'll get the same enjoyment out of each of them. It depends on what you like, on what you want to buy, on what you want to play. It all depends on the person buying. And that's why if you're going to see a review, read it. Don't even look at that number. Hell.
Don't put your hand over the number first.
Forget the
read
stars,
review,
forget
and
the
then
numbers.
See if you agree.
Forget the out of 100. Just read the reviews, demo it first, rent it. See what you want, see if it's what you like, then buy it if you like it.
Right, so we've seen the prevalence of other sites like Metacritic that put all the different ratings in the industry together and try to give you an average, as well as the addition of the customer ratings or the gamer ratings that you see sometimes right under what the editors gave. You guys put any credence into those? You think that's worthy of taking a look at before buying a game?
Definitely a little bit at least.
I don't really see that as being useful, because all right, if you have a site like Metacritic that becomes aggregative and it brings in every score from other places, you have to see what their scores mean first, because a 10 at one site might mean a 10 somewhere else. You might say, okay, it's perfect, but it might not be perfect. It might just be a very good game.
And the same thing, that's why I like Metacritic and game rankings, because you can look at, see what everyone rated it, and be like, oh, why did this site give it an 8 while this site gave it like a 6? Then you can go and see what they didn't like about it, and if that's a deal breaker for you. It gives you a better overall sense, I think. Not the overall, aggregate score, but the individual scores that are so neatly listed.
Yeah, you know what I think has the biggest impact so far has been the ability to download a game demo and play it yourself prior to going to actually buying it. I mean, pretty much every game that's out there now on Xbox and on PlayStation, 90% of them have demos that are
even
out there
that
you
has
can
its
play.
flaws. I have to think back on Mirror's Edge, where the demo for that game was amazing, but that's all there was to the game. You had like maybe an extra 4 hours to the game of the same thing, and even then, it wasn't in the nice locales, the big open world, not open world, but you're outdoors, you're on top of buildings. It wasn't like that in the retail game. You're like in air ducts and whatnot. It just wasn't as pretty.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of a demo, to hook you in and get you to spend your money on
Yeah, they want to
game.
show you the good parts and then just leave you salivating and
But I mean, demos done right. Think back in the days of Half-Life. That demo was great because it showed you, it showed you the main guns, it showed you the main gameplay, but those levels were taken out from the original game, but they're put into the demo for demo purposes, so you can get a feel for the game without actually having to play it, and so you get a whole brand new experience with Half-Life.
There's definitely some demos out there that feel like they're cut off almost prematurely, cut off prior to you getting to any part that is really going to allow you to decide whether to buy the game or not. So maybe it's almost the demo should be rated separately from the real games, in that you can say this demo is a good demo in the sense that it allows you to play the game and the game is good, but it also is going to tell you whether or not you should buy it. I mean, that's what a good demo should do.